Kian muzikon vi ŝatas, Kem?
Mi ŝatas teknomuzik.
Marcel, ĉu vi preferas opero?
Compreneble mi preferas opero.
What you just heard was a conversation in the world's most successful invented language. It was the result of one man's idea for world peace, and it ended up becoming the official language of the League of Nations. Today, on 5-Minute Trivia, we're talking about, and maybe we'll even speak a little, Esperanto.
We choose to go to the moon.
Right now, you like me.
Practice? We talking about practice, man.
Hello, or, in the spirit of our show, should I say, saluton. Welcome to 5-Minute Trivia, the show that's making the world smarter 5 minutes at a time. I'm your host, R.M. Zuberi. So full disclosure here, I'm going to engage in a teeny bit of self-promotion. A couple of years ago, I wrote a book called A Minute Before Infinity, second in a trilogy, and there was a scene in that book where one of the characters needed to speak to another character without anyone else knowing what they were saying. So I needed a code of some kind. Now, if you've ever read or watched Lord of the Rings, you know that made-up languages are a big part of the experience. Those were invented by the author, J.R.R. Tolkien. But I'm not him. I neither have the patience nor the skill to just invent an entire language for like 5 lines of dialogue. So I used a language that someone else invented. And it's even on Google Translate. That language is called Esperanto. It was invented by a 19th century Russian eye doctor named L.L. Zamenhof. Now, according to the Language Research Center Ethnologue, there are currently 7,159 languages in use on the planet Earth. So why did this guy, this Zamenhof, think we needed another one? Well, because we have 7,159 languages. Why have that many when you can just have one? That was Zamenhof's idea. In the late 19th century, he lived in a part of the Russian Empire that is now Poland. This is how he described his home in a letter.
The inhabitants were divided into 4 distinct elements: Russians, Poles, Germans, and Jews. Each of these spoke their own language and looked on all the others as enemies. In such a town, a sensitive nature feels more acutely than elsewhere the misery caused by language division.
In other words, Zamenhof felt that having so many languages was divisive. He called it separation of the human family into groups of enemies. And he, personally, was going to fix it. So, did he? Well, not totally, but he tried. In its own language, Esperanto means one who hopes. And Zamenhof hoped that his new language would foster world peace and understanding by getting everyone to speak the same thing, no matter where they lived. The problem with speaking another language is that you first have to learn it. But who wants to learn a language that nobody speaks? Well, initially no one. He tried to get 10 million people to sign up and got fewer than 1,000. But it did slowly catch on. World War I was bad for a lot of things, but it worked out pretty well for Esperanto. After the war, the League of Nations was created to ensure that nothing like that terrible conflict would ever happen again. In that spirit of harmony, Iran's delegation to the League proposed that Esperanto be adopted as the official language for international relations. And their proposal was successful. Only 1 out of the 42 founding member countries voted against it. That country? Yeah, that's right. France. After Esperanto was adopted by the League of Nations, the language spread everywhere, including France. It was really big in the former Yugoslavia and even spread to the Korean peninsula. But then came the backlash. The French government officially banned Esperanto instruction. The Japanese who occupied Korea saw it as the language of the resistance and also banned it. Esperanto was legally forbidden by Nazi Germany because Zamenhof was Jewish and the language itself was internationalist. In Soviet Russia, Joseph Stalin was initially supportive of Esperanto, and he could even speak it a little, but he completely reversed course during the Great Purge. Esperanto speakers were actually targeted and executed as spies. Still, the language didn't die out. After World War II, the newly formed United Nations granted official support to Esperanto as an international auxiliary language. And it's sort of been around ever since. Because Esperanto doesn't belong to any one country, it's a little hard to say exactly how many people speak it. Somewhere around 100,000 is most people's best guess. But its influence is everywhere. There's an Esperanto version of Wikipedia. Principal Skinner speaks Esperanto on The Simpsons. The movie director Alfonso Cuarón, who made Gravity, Roma, and the best Harry Potter movie, named his production company Esperanto Films. Even the Vatican has an Esperanto podcast. If you've ever wanted to take on a second or third language, you can actually learn Esperanto for free on Duolingo and a bunch of other linguistic sites. Esperanto ultimately didn't bring the world any closer to peace and understanding. That would take a lot more than just inventing a common tongue. But Zamenhof wanted to do the right thing, and if we are ever going to achieve peace in this world, we'll need a lot more like him. Genia program por hodio. Aligo al ni la venontan fohon, dankon pro oscoltado. In other words, that's our show for today. Join us next time, and thanks for listening.